Majesty, thank you very much for this interview. We're honored to have you with us.
It's my pleasure on the occasion of the Arab American Institute's Khalil Gibran Spirit of Humanity Awards to meet with you.
Oh, it's a wonderful occasion, but we know you've been an activist, and you know that the menace of nuclear issues has been posing a threat to international security. You have been a founding member of an organization called Global Zero. You hope to get the word off on nuclear weapons. Do you think this is an easy task, to get all these states together and trying to eliminate the threat of nuclear weapons?
No. No, of course. It's not going to be an easy task at all. That's why almost 100 leaders, former heads of state and foreign ministers and national security advisors and military commanders from around the world came together last year in France when we launched Global Zero to help provide policy work, diplomatic efforts, and public outreach, because we understand that in order to succeed, we're going to have the heads of state, such as now the Russian president and the American president, have made a historic breakthrough in declaring they will work together to eliminate all nuclear weapons for the first time. And now we have to bring on board all the other nuclear declared and non-declared countries. We're talking about France, Great Britain, China, Israel, Pakistan, India. We need those countries now to come on board and also begin to reduce their arsenals, as the Russians and the Americans have promised. But it will take time, and there'll have to be a strong verification mechanism in place, so there's confidence on all sides, and the public has a very important role to play, I think, in supporting the leaders who understand now that the proliferation of nuclear weapons and the related risk of nuclear terrorism, on top of accidents and other problems that we have seen over the years, is the greatest security risk to our world today, no matter where we might live.
Absolutely. And this is lead to the question, actually. As you know, 96% of the world nuclear arsenals are both in the US and in Russia. And we have seen President Obama and President Medvedev recently, actually. There's some kind of new atmosphere, could be detente, could be, inshallah. But do you think that this is going to be a good start, that if we can talk about these two countries leading the world?
Certainly, Russia and the United States have a clear responsibility, which they are assuming, to lead, because they have, as you said, 96% of the over 23,000 weapons that are in about 9 countries today. But another 40 countries have enough material to make another 100,000 weapons. And we've had 25 cases of materials going lost or being stolen in the last 2 decades. And terrorists have been trying to get their hands on weapons, or to steal, to build, to have their own capability, which is a threat to all of us. So the leaders of many of the nuclear programs in their own countries are now coming together and saying there are 2 choices. One is we continue with the status quo and increasing proliferation and the chance of either an accident or a state using it or a non-state actor making use of nuclear weapons. Or the only alternative, and this is from the experts, is to work for the total elimination of all nuclear weapons. It will take time, but it needs to begin now. It is, with climate change, this is the other most urgent threat to global security today.
Absolutely. President Obama as well seems to be reactivating the peace process. You are not a stranger to the peace process. Late King Hussein was involved in it.
And so many, for so much longer even.
Oh, absolutely. But also, now, as you know, also President Obama is inviting the President of Egypt and the Palestinian Authority, the Israeli Prime Minister. If you were an advisor to President Obama, what would you tell him?
Well, I think we are extremely fortunate that he chose George Mitchell as an envoy to the region. George Mitchell brings the lessons learned from the Northern Ireland peace process. And I have thought for many, many years and spoken often about the fact that I think those lessons are the most applicable to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. They learned after years of marginalizing the militants and other actors that they had to bring everyone to the table. Everyone had to have a chance to tell their stories, to be listened to, for everyone's history and suffering to be respected. That was a vital step towards achieving peace ultimately, an agreement ultimately.